Hi everyone, Nicholas Buffett here from sunny Cyprus, and today's video tutorial is all about Search Coach, a new app which is incorporated, or you can incorporate within Microsoft Teams. Now this is the beta version right now, so you don't have it currently, but it should be available soon. And the whole point of Search Coach, it allows the ability for students and for staff to be able to search. It's a search engine, search the internet easily, safely, very important, but at the same time the results that come back, it actually gives you some extra data. In other words, how valid that data is, how the particular websites that it actually finds, it will give you a percentage of how good that website is about giving accurate data, whether data that's on that website is actually cross-referenced and checked and updated. There are other things as well. For example, you're able to add filters, domains, file types, date ranges. All of these things that usually we don't normally look at, and students probably don't even know that they exist, that they can actually implement these kinds of filters. Now, the good thing is, because it's incorporated directly in Microsoft Teams, so you can actually add it, students don't really need to go to their browser to do their searching. They do the searching directly from Search Coach, but of course the results are, when you actually click on a web page to open up, the web page is going to open in your default browser. So the whole point of this is being a search engine. So I think it's going to be much clearer if I show you how it works and show you Search Coach. So let's begin. Okay, so here I am in Microsoft Teams, and I've opened my class team here. It's called Teacher Training. And notice I said class team, so you can only use Search Coach in a class team, so you can't use it in a staff team. So I've got my general channel here selected. I'm going to go to the plus sign at the top to add a tab. Now again, you won't have this yet, but search, so I'm going to search for Search Coach. Here it is there. Okay, and when it is available, you will be able to find Search Coach just like you find any other application. You're going to click on it to add it. You can choose to post about adding this to your team so your students can see as well. I'm just going to remove that for now and just go to save. So that's going to add Search Coach here as a tab at the top, and you can see that there. And this is the window. This is the Search Coach interface. Nothing too complicated about it, and that's what I really like. Reminds me of the Google search engine, just plain search area, text box for your search, and that's it. Really plain. So it's going to make it really easy for students to use. So let's go ahead with starting a search. So if I just click here, I'm going to write, I'm going to say new battery technology. Okay, so straight away you can see I get some results. So as I said, this is a search engine. It won't open the websites in Teams. So when you do actually click on a website, it's going to open the website in your default browser. But what you do get from using this search engine instead of your default browser search engine or your search engine of choice like Google or Bing is these options down here. So you've got at the top straight away the different filters. We're going to have a look at these, but just doing a normal search just like you would in Google, for example, you can see here you've got this reliability option button here. It gives you the domain and the last time it was crawled. And if you look here, for example, this website here gives me information about my search, new battery technology, and it says it's got a NewsGuard 87.5 out of 100. So this is how reliable this particular information in this website is. And if I click on this, I can actually see what this website does good and what it doesn't do good. So the green things here actually show you the good things that they do, and the red crosses essentially mean this website doesn't do these things. For example, here the first one, it says does not repeatedly publish false content, and that's a tick, so they don't do that. Here it's got avoids deceptive headlines, that's green tick, so that's really good. Something which is not so good on this particular website information, it says website discloses ownership and financing. Well, they don't do that, that's crossed. Okay, so, and the last one here, it says this one's crossed out. The site provides names of content creators along with either contact or biographical information, where they don't offer that. So That's really good because it's going to help students find useful, accurate information very, very easily. And you can see here you've got different ratings for different websites. So it just saves plowing through all these .com websites where, you know, students will have to go and cross-reference information and then just go and double check the information to see where it's valid data or it's real data. So Search Coach does that for them. So what else do we get in Search Coach? Well, let's have a look at the top. I can search for particular domains. So if I click here on domains, I've got the different domains, let's say .com, .org, .gov, .edu, and at the bottom countries as well. So I'm going to search on my search criteria. I'm just going to choose a .gov site and click on search. And you can see it's added the command next to my search. This is my search here where it says new battery technology, and it's added this code here and the parameter gov. So the code site : and then it's saying I'm only going to be searching for sites with the gov domain. And you can see all of these sites here that it's found have got the gov domain, the government domain. And because they're government domains, you're going to see the reliability is going to be all of them lightly trustworthy. And it explains this saying that, you know, if it belongs to a government website, then generally the information is going to be reliable. So you can actually choose more than one domain. So if I choose gov and edu, you're going to see the parameters at the top change. So here it's got site : gov or site : edu. So this is also teaching our students how to actually do proper searching so that they make their results, or the results that they get, are more accurate using these parameters that we can add in search patterns. So that's another really cool feature. I do like the fact that they're actually putting the code at the top, not just you selecting here and you not know what it's doing. It's actually giving you the code so that students can actually learn how to write their own filters using other search engines. So if I just do a quick search there we go. And now I can see I'm going to get either gov sites or edu sites. Okay, so that's that part. Now, if I want to search based on a country, again, very easy. If I go to domains, I'm just going to click on all here. And at the bottom, I've got more. This is the country and regional domains. So if I click on more, I'm just going to choose, let's say what they've got in Canada. Okay, so you can see at the top, it's added site : CA. CA is the country code for Canada. If I do a search, there you go. So all of these sites here are going to be Canadian sites. And you can see they've got that CA domain there, the country domain. Now, let's say your country is not here. Let's say you want to search for a country which is not here. So what you can do, you can go here where it says find more country domains. That's going to open this website here. There we go. And you can find all the country codes here. So let's say I wanted to find if there was any information, let's say in Cyprus, about new battery technology. So Cyprus has got the code CY. There it is. Now, if I close that and go over here, what I'm going to do, I can now see how to write this criteria. So I search CA, but I can click here now and change that to CY and run that again. And now I'm going to get results which are related to Cyprus. There you go. Okay, so even if your country is not there, or a country that you want to use is not there, you can actually get the country code and add it. Fantastic little feature. And let's not forget that students are learning how to modify these parameters at the top, your search criteria, let's say. Let's go to the next part. Okay, so now I'm going to use the filter file types. If I'm looking for a particular file type, so instead of doing a general search, you can actually take it to search for particular file types. I'm going to put PDF. Now, again, you can see here it's adding the parameters and the criteria at the top. File type : PDF. Let's say you're looking for a particular file type which isn't listed here. You can modify this command. So I'm just going to do a quick search here. There you go. So these are all PDF documents. You can see that there. So if I wanted to change the file type, let's say I'm going to look for zip files. Oh, I don't think that's going to work. Search. Oh, look at that. I can get some zip files. I don't know what's inside those zip files, and I don't suggest you go and download a whole load of zip files just to open them up and see what's in there. But you can see you can modify the criteria for these parameters, okay, which is, again, absolutely fantastic. Love that feature. So I'm just going to go back to, let's say, PDF and PPT, and actually not PPT, doc, and do a search. And look at that. Can you see it's actually putting in here the operators or. So it's this file type or this file type or this file type. You can, of course, search, and you can, of course, modify this line here. And I think this is a really good exercise for students to learn. Okay, there you go. So these are PDFs. It gives you that it's a PDF. And if you go down, you'll probably find some documents there as well, which is basically HTML pages. Okay, so let's go to the next part. Okay, so now what I want to do, I want to find information about new battery technology, which is not outdated. I want recent information. So I'm going to go to date range. Now remember, none of these filters, you don't have to use them individually. You can use them, you know, and I'll do this now. If you could use them all together. So if I go to date range, I'm going to say I want information which is related to the past month, file types PDF, and domains I want gov and edu. Look at this string up. I just love the way that it's putting this code together. This is really, really fantastic. Okay, so I'm just going to click on search there. Let's see what we get. I've got nothing there. So I'm just going to get rid of, let me get rid of all of that and just do something. Let's go past month. Let's just do past month for now. There we go. And look at that. You can get your site ratings as well. So 87.5. No, this is like NewsGuard here is giving me 100 out of 100 here, which is absolutely fantastic for this website. That's US news. So there you go. Probably a trustworthy website there. And if I was to click on this website, what it's going to do, click on that, it's going to open your default browser and show you that information. Okay. You can add your own operators, and you can see that these operators are added for us automatically. But, you know, getting your students to practice adding operators, if I just put this back, so here I've got now file type PDF. If I put PDF and doc, you can see the operator or, which is there. And you can get students to practice putting operators, putting string quotes, so that it's actually finding that pattern. So if I was to put this text here and put that in a string quote, there it says file type PDF or file type, and it has to have this string pattern together. So new battery technology as a string. So it's not going to be looking for the words new battery technology as separate words anywhere in that search. It has to find these three words together. So if I just do that now, there you go. And you will find that I've only got a few results here. But again, it's only got a few results because it's looking for this string search here as well. Okay, next thing I'm going to go show you some of the different settings that you can change in Search Coach. So I'm going to go back, and this is my default page. This is the first page that we actually went to, and at the top right corner we've got class settings. So the first thing I'm going to do is just give it a background. I can choose this background, although I don't like backgrounds. I like the plainness, that plain white background, but you can add a background. Okay, let's go to class settings again, and from filters now, I can actually remove some of these filters from here if I wanted to, or I can also add this filter here, FactCheck, and you can actually edit this as well. I'm going to show you that. But what is FactCheck? Click on apply. It's going to add this other filter at the end, FactCheck. So if I was to go to new, so this is, I'm going to tell it to use the website FactCheck, or I can use Snopes and pointer.org here as well. So these are the three websites which you can use to check facts. And if you click on search, it's going to do a search using this particular site. And look at that, the site is factcheck.org. Now look at the way that the code is written. It's site : it skips, it doesn't add. So the parameter, you don't add the protocol, the HTTP or the HTTPS, and it doesn't add the first part either, the www. It only takes the name and the domain. So if I wanted to find factcheck.org using my normal browser, I will type www, and it will add automatically the protocol for me. And this is important. I'm saying this because we're going to see why this is important in a second. So when I do a search, you can see it's using FactCheck, and because it's using FactCheck, this is a very safe website. It actually checks everything. It checks for facts, and that's the purpose of this website. And there are other websites as well. You can also add, for example, from here, you can add these two. Now, if you wanted to modify this, let's just do the search. There you go. So there you go. This is like 95%. This is using Snops. if I'm pronouncing that correctly, I don't know. So if you wanted to modify this, you can go back, go to class settings, and go to filters, and here it's got fact check. You can click on edit. So if there's another website that you use and you want to add, for example, well, you can do that by adding it here. Now please look here and pay close attention to the URL that it's using. So if you are going to add another one, by clicking add here, you have to write the address as it is here. Ignore the protocol, the HTTP, ignore the first part, the www, and just add the name of the website and the domain at the end. So basically the company's domain and then the domain that it is, org.com or whatever. And you can add up to 2 levels. So you can see here, this one here, pointer.org, it's added, it's added 1 level. It's got /tfcn. If it was going to add another one, let's say you can go another level deep. So let's say there was another one here, say called news. You can go up to that level. You can't add a third one, say info. So you could only go up to 2 levels deep in this URL. Okay, so that's as far as it. So if you had, actually, I'll try and show you. I'm going to show you the bbc.com one in a second. So basically, you can add another URL here if there's something else you use. I'm just going to delete that, click on save, and there you go. I've only got these 3 here. Okay, now I had to pause this video for a while because there was a feature that I wanted to show you and it was a little bit buggy. So kudos to the Search Coach team. You're absolutely fantastic. You came back with a fix very, very quickly. So respect to them. Now you're going to see some slight changes in Search Coach. The first thing you're going to see is this little splash screen here, the About Search Coach. And you're going to see this the first time when you install Search Coach. Just gives you a little bit of information about Search Coach. So I'm just going to close this. And you can see I've got a different background here. I'm just going to remove that background. I'm just going to go to class settings up here. And the other thing, before I actually click on class settings, you can see here you've got the About and the Search Coach preview. So I'm just going to go to class settings, go to my background, get rid of that background. I like a nice plain background. You can see I also removed some of my filters here, and I've got a my list. And I'm going to show you how we can create this my list here. So if I click on this, you can see I've got here bbc.com news, and this is a search list which I created for, let's say, my students to use. So if I want them to get information only from this particular website or other websites. So let's see how we can go about doing that. So I'm going to go to class settings, go to filters, and you're going to see down here I've got this my list, which I'm going to delete this time. And this is the fact check that we knew. I'm going to re-enable domains, and I'm going to re-enable operators. So if I click on apply there we go, everything's back to normal. So I'm going to go back and make my own list now. So go to filters, I'm going to go to create your own. So from here you can create your own list. You're going to give your list a name, and just note that you can only create 1 list. So you can't create, you know, a series of search lists for your students. So it's only 1 list, and you can only add a maximum of 6 websites. So I'm just going to call this Mr. P's search list. And I'm just going to add 2 addresses. Now, what's important about the addresses, you can't put the protocol. It's going to strip it of the protocol, and you can only go to 2 levels down. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So if I here put this part here, the whole URL, HTTP, this thing here is not needed. So this part, the HTTP and the www. In fact, when I click on save, it's actually going to strip the protocol, the HTTP part. It may leave the www, but you don't want that either. You just want to strip that bit off. The next thing I want to show you is the levels that you can go down. So let's say you've got your site and it goes into, let's say, news. And so that will be /news. So that's okay. And let's say there's another a sub let's say category, let's say latest, and that's as far as you can go. You can go up to 2 levels down. If you add the 3rd one, if I put here, for example, /today, this is based on your website, and we'll see this in a sec. If I click on save, it's going to strip that one off, so you could only go up to 2 levels down. So I'm just going to leave that on news, and I'm just going to add another one. I'm going to put here, say, Microsoft.com. So this is basically a list, and my students will be able to use my list to actually search for things only from one of these two or both of these sites. And I can add obviously up to 6 sites. I'm going to click on save. And you can see here, it's got Mr. P's search list. I haven't got a space there, doesn't matter. I can go and edit that. So let's just go edit that search list, put a space and save. So we can see Mr. P's list here, the search list here. And you can see I need to slide this toggle switch over to enable it. And if I do that, that list will now appear. However, I can only have either FactCheck enabled or my list enabled. So if I click on FactCheck, this one's going to toggle off. So you can't have both. So I'm just going to put my one there, click on apply, and look at that, Mr. P search list. So if I want my students to search only using websites on from my list, they can click here and they can choose either bbc.com or microsoft.com or both. And the search will be based on these two here. Okay, I'm just going to get a quick domain, which is slightly longer, and show you what happens if you actually put that very long domain in, and it's got more than 2 levels. So this is the bbc.com homepage. I'm going to go to, let's say, news, and then from news I'm going to go to world, and you can see here I've got 2 levels at the top, so it's news and world, so that's fine. I'm going to see if I can find another level, but if there was one, I'm just going to make one up. So I'm just going to copy that, the whole URL, Control C, go to Teams. I'm going to go to class settings, go to my filters, click on edit for Mr. P's list, and here I'm going to add all of this, but I'm also going to add another one here. I'm just going to call that today. So let's say that had a 3rd level. So this will basically, as soon as I click on save, look what happens to this here. If I click save, can you see if I go back to edit now, it stripped the today off because you could only go up to 2 levels down, but it's left the www. Now that's not an issue. Let's give that a go. We can just give that a try and see. Save. That's on, apply. And if I'm going to do a search now, let's say I'm going to do a search on what should we do, climate change, and I'm going to use my list, and I'm only going to use this one. Click on search, oops, click on that, search. You see that works okay, the www does work okay, but I do suggest you remove it in case that sometimes some websites have got a slightly different domain, and that may not, the www might be, I don't know, say 4 W's, might be 2 or www2 or something. So Search Coach may not work. I can't guarantee this. So the safest bet will be to strip the www and just leave the domain name onwards. And that's it. That's how you can create your own search list for your students, and that way you definitely know your students are going to be finding information from websites that you want them to search. And you can see things from bbc.com. all of these are like 95 out of 100, so they're pretty reliable because this particular website has got a good reliability rating. Okay, so that's it, Search Coach. I think it's fantastic. Let me know your thoughts, and if you do, when it is actually available your tenant and you do actually install it, let me know your thoughts. Let me see if you like it or not, and if you do use it with your students, that would be interesting to hear how your students are using it and if they're finding it useful. If you learned something new, you like this video, make sure you click like, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye bye.